You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Vegas, it's rock, it's dogs. It's Vegas Rock Dog Radio, a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture. Stand by for great guests and cool advice, all in one rocking hour. The phone lines are open at 702-483-4444. That's 702-483-4444. Now, let's bring on the host. Here is the rock and roll queen of dogs, Sam.
Good morning, everybody. You are listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with your host, and that is me, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And I have a bit of a raspy voice today, so I guess it's very rock and roll. We are broadcasting live from Las Vegas, if you're listening in for the first time. Welcome to the show. It's all about pets, people, pop culture, and anything else we can throw into the mix. So lots of topics we cover every week, and if it's not something fun, it'll be something informative, or it'll be a local celebrity, or very inspirational people in our community doing lots of good things for animals. So if you're listening in for the first time, or you want to actually follow the show elsewhere, here are some nice links for you. And all these links pop up on Facebook. Anything we talk about during the show will be on Facebook. So you can just relax, listen to the show, grab a coffee, put your dog or your cat on your lap, and enjoy an hour of pets, people, and pop culture. Here's the thing. A lot of people actually don't sit down these days to just do something simple. So if it's not watching TV, radio's great. You know, you can just like close your eyes and have a good old listen in. So this is how you're going to find the show, and it's really easy. Our website is vegasrockdogradio.com. That's where you're going to find all the links in one place, and our Ustream, and we are streaming live. My guest is in studio, so we can do a little wave. Oh, I used to wave up there because the camera, you see, sometimes it is hard to train an old dog new tricks. I'm going to wave this way. Hi, everybody. So that's our Ustream. You're going to go to ustream.tv. Our channel is... Actually, our profile is Vegas Rock Dog, and then there are two channels. There's the Hot Diggity Dog Show, which is our older show, and then there's a new one, Vegas Rock Dog Radio. And as I say, we broadcast live out of Las Vegas on vegasallnetradio.com. You can find my show on the site, and if you actually go to my page, you'll see all the links of all the sponsors that you'll hear during the show. And if you scroll even further down, you're going to find all the archive shows. And you can find the shows by guest or by topic and listen at your own leisure. Next is Facebook, Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Twitter is Vegas Rock Dog Show, and that is SHO, no W on the end. The call-in number is 702-483-4444. And as I say, all archive shows are at vegasallnetradio.com, and you can listen live right now. And a lot of people say, I can't find the button to listen. It's the two biggest flashing yellow speakers on the page. Just click one of them, you know, might help. Instagram. Oh, for all you people that love to post pictures of dogs, come and find me on Instagram and I'll follow you back. No one can complain about your 100 pictures a day of your pets. So, oh, are we all right there, Chris? Are we having some technical issues? Are we good? So find me on Instagram, Vegas Rock Dog. If you want to pick up clothing, Vegas Rock Dog Clothing, and that is hip clothing for you and your dog. It's vegasrockdog.com. The blog is the rockandrolldog.com, and that's where most of my giveaways happen. So really important that you go over there if you like to try and enter and win some stuff, some cool stuff from sponsors and from people who just generally just send me stuff, which is great. And it usually is accompanied by a review. So I like to make it very, very honest, so it's very, very helpful to our listeners. And that now leads me to my guest who's in studio, and I've known her for ages, like for ages. And I can't hear Jessica too well. Do we need to turn her up? Or hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. There we go. We're like, yeah, come in the studio.
Just telling Sam not to count the ears.
Do you know what? You already read my mind. We are Geminis, too. So very similar in personalities. But I knew Jessica and I worked together many moons ago, at Canyon Ranch Health Spa here in Las Vegas. And then lost touch over a few years. And then by fluke, we got reconnected. And by the time we reconnected, we were doing something completely different with animals. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So we've our paths have crossed once again. I don't think we're going to be losing touch at all ever.
No,
now that's
no.
it. We're connected. So yeah, we're in a great a community of really fabulous people in Las Vegas, making a lot of great things happen for animals in town. And so Jessica Clemens, she owns Incredabull. Do you want to tell our listeners about Incredabull? What's it about?
Well, we're a nonprofit organization. Our focus is restoring the positive image of pit bull dogs through education, advocacy, low-cost services, and owner support. We're really just looking to end breed discrimination and educate people and support people in the ownership of their animals.
See, I told you I know great people. I think there are so many components to animal welfare. I mean, anything from rescuing them, getting them adopted out, like you say, education. And I think what you do is a very, very important part of that.
Well, thank you.
And since in Vegas, we've now got a great organization called No Kill LV. And the website is nklv.org. What Jessica does is one of the components of being successful as a no-kill shelter. Now, no-kill shelter, if I'm not wrong, does it have to be that you're saving 90% of the animals to be classed, or is it lower than that? Maybe
I think it might be a little
bit lower. So basically, it's still a very high percentage because, of course, there's no way you can save 100% of the animals. Some come in such horrific conditions, that they honestly cannot be saved. So you are obviously going to, even in a no-kill shelter, you're still going to have a small percentage. If you're applying all the steps, a small percentage of animals that don't make it. But the percentages are high once you start making that progress.
Yes.
It's not something that happens immediately. It's, that's just foolish to even think that could happen. You say one day, hey, we're going to be no-kill.
Yeah, there's no magic wand.
There's no magic wand, but you really, really have to apply these steps, or 11 steps, and the application of them and really believing that you can do this is what makes it successful. And most of those components cost no money, if maybe a little bit, to make those happen. So that's the interesting thing about no kill, because we still have someone that will pop up on Facebook and say, but you killed 2%,
Like, you can't save them all. There's
can't.
going to be behaviorally challenged and there's going to be sick.
That's right, yeah. And it's so that's a really important thing to understand. And it's the point that you actually are trying and applying that is what really, really counts. And once you do that, coupled with your passion and a almost like being like an engineer in your mind, how it's going to happen and a method, then, you're going to get these amazing successes. And what I've seen from other shelters that have adopted it is that progress, it moves very quickly. Where they go, oh my gosh, now we're at 40%, now we're at 50%. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And I would think that gives you a lot more incentive to keep that going and reach even bigger goal.
Yeah, it seems like, I think if you really try to educate the community as to what is going on and get their attention and tell them that there is a way to move towards, euthanizing less animals in our shelter and drawing them in and using them as a resource as well.
Yes,
is
I think so too, because people that know me very well and they know what I do, sometimes I'll speak to them about our city shelter and they're like, what? They euthanize animals, and they're still unaware. They may have lived in Vegas their whole life, So don't assume. I mean, sometimes we say, we're preaching to the choir. We're not always, are we?
No.
Even people we know.
Even animal owners, I talk to a lot of people that they have no idea that there's mandatory spay and neuter or microchipping laws.
I know.
Or, I helped a lady that was wrangling a loose dog on the street the other day, and he had a tag, a microchip tag, but not a
collar.
He had a collar, but not an identifying tag. And she said, I can't take him home, my pets won't take this. And I said, well, he looks like he has a microchip. Take him to the nearest vet. You don't even have to get him out of your car and have him scan for a microchip. And she just looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language, and she wasn't educated on microchips and how they work.
Isn't that amazing?
Eventually she ended up getting the dog home. But,
oh, wow.
She thought, I'll just put up a poster at this corner where I found, which is, that is
one little thing you can
method.
Do. Yes.
But it's, it's not the 2014
It's not. And you know what? I haven't seen Jessica in a while, so she doesn't know my story with Mr. Twix. So for people who've been listening in for a couple of weeks, you obviously know what's going on. And it leads right into what you're saying. A couple of weeks ago, I got a call from my neighbour. We've been chasing this dog for 4 hours in the park across from where we live. Can you come and help us? We can't catch him. So we go down there, and as I say, always make sure you've got a pair of flats in your car, because running around in high heels does not,
it's not going to work.
Help at all. I did not need to go to the gym that day. It's like, oh my gosh. So another 2 hours, Jim and I ran around. So there's 4 of us and a couple of odd people in the park, and a couple of odd people that know we're chasing a dog that was right next to them that didn't grab him, which was kind of weird.
Oh, that's always nice.
Or one guy that said, is that your dog? And I said, no, as we were chasing him. And he went, oh, if I'd have known it was your dog, I would have helped. I'm still chasing a dog.
Still needs help. Hello.
Hello. So anyway, cut a long story short, he decided to trot into the basketball court, frantically closing the big gates. And I didn't know there was there's like a gap at the back of it where you could still walk in and out. What's the point of gates if you're still walking in and out? Anyway, so this guy stepped up and blocked the thing. This dog looked like a big, giant, dirty mop just running, tail so far under, head hanging so low down to the ground, obviously terrified, filthy, matted beyond, like painful looking. Couldn't even see the dog's face. His nails were as long as, oh my gosh, like talons. Really bad. And obviously exhausted. 6 hours that day, only to find out that he's been in the park for weeks and weeks and weeks. And lots of people have seen him, and lots of people try to catch him, even animal control, and I'm glad they didn't, because we did. Even park keeper tried to catch him. They would pull out their equipment to mow the grass and stuff, and he would just sit on this rock, and they'd get close, and off he would go. So everybody knows this dog. So we catch him, and within 5 minutes of that, what I did is I had to, the dog was already my pet. I was like, come on, you follow me. And I just started walking around the basketball court, and he started following me. So then I sat down, he sat next to me, and then he rolled on his back, and then he fell asleep. Aww. So this was a sweet dog, a sweet, smelly dog. Smelly, it was just vomit-inducing, kind of oh, God, gross. But you kind of have to put that to one side, don't you? Know?
Yeah.
So I've got a collar on. Well, he doesn't have a collar. I get him a collar and a leash, but I'm not sure if he's going to walk on it, try and get out. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to chance it. I'm going to pick him up. So I picked up that smelly mop and got him in the car, straight up to a vet close to my house. It's not a vet I use, but I thought I just need to get him there because he's such a mess, right. So first thing, like you said, we've got to get him scanned for a chip. So if you're listening in, just understand that a chip is not a GPS.
Yes.
There are GPS-type little tracking systems that fit on your dog collar. They're a little bit big, though. It's a bit like wearing a big car battery on the side of your neck.
It's like an old beeper.
It's like wearing a beeper around your neck. Imagine it looks stupid on a human. It looks really stupid on a dog, a small dog. So just know that a microchip, and there are a couple of different scanners, aren't there, for chips? Not all scanners.
Yeah, not all of them can be
chips.
Universally read. Yes.
Yeah, so that's something you may want to ask the vet, or I think Petco and PetSmart scan for you as well.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong. So
usually if they have a Banfield or something in
so
there.
just, you may want to ask, is that a universal scanner? Because you honestly could find another chip with a different scanner, Anyway, so Mr. Twix, as we named him, and they called him Dog at the vet. I'm like, well, that's really a lovely bedside manner. I'm like, I've just told you his name is Mr. Twix. His prescription says dog on it. Aww. I'm like, oh, he's so much more than that. So we so we got him to the vet, no chip. Obviously, he's not wearing a collar. And she checks him out, and his ears are infected, of course. He's a Lhasa Apso. Oh. Did not look like that at all. I didn't even know what the heck he was, He tested positive for worms. Yeah, it was a whole other, so that's something you have to think about, So I'm thinking, my 2 dogs, how do I handle this? What are the steps? So we decided that once we, got him his shots while he was there, just give him his shots. He's going to need them. I need to get him groomed. I just need to get him shaved down, and this is one thing you really need to know. If you have dogs that have short hair or no hair, and you've not had a dog with hair and it's got mats, do not bathe the dog. Do not bathe the dog with mats, because you make it so much worse. Makes it so much worse. So thankfully I knew that. But do you know how many people said to me, oh, just give him a bath. There's a self-wash. Even the vet said that. And I'm like, No.
Yeah, that road probably would have been my thing because I'm clueless about.
Well, we have short-haired dogs. Yeah. So that's something to bear in mind, you know. And I thought I can't bear to have him feel and look that way one day longer. Not when he's in my care now. This is ridiculous. Sure. And of course, I know a million groomers. But my friend Megan from is she Petco or PetSmart? I didn't say the wrong store, but she stepped up 6:00 at night. Bring him in. She says, but the only thing is he needs to have his shots. I'm like, I like to send her the picture of the shots we just gave him. Anyway, so took 2 hours later, you know, and she said, come pick him up. And I said, send me a picture. She said, nope, want to see your face when you see him. And I thought she brought out a baby tiger. Aww. He had all these, like a reverse brindle, amazing looking dog.
Oh,
I was
cool.
stunned. And he was not, he looked like a 60-pound dog when I got him, but clearly not. He was like 17 pounds. So my plan was, I'm going to have to give him his own private suite at home, yeah? And I have a big, fantastic crate, and I've always got lots of dog beds. I mean, not without any of that. And that's where he stayed, you know? So that's the story of how we did that. Plus, we emailed his information to as all our big network of people. Clearly, this dog doesn't have an owner, you know? Here's my thing. If the dog was in that state and he had an owner, no one saw him in the park looking for him. And we never saw a fly, we never saw anything. Right. Secondly, if he'd only escaped from his owner, that was not a good situation either.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, obviously it was being neglected.
Yeah, and 2 weeks later, I mean, he had worms. I think we were overly cautious about the worm situation. I mean, because as a human, you can get them too.
Right.
So, but I think it was the smartest thing that we did because we got to clear up his ear infections. We got to, give him his treatment, keep him isolated from the girls, even though they could smell him and they could hear him and stuff like that. But it was kind of a good step because it was kind of a gradual introduction to him.
Sure.
You know, where it wasn't like, oh, here's a dog, you know, like, what?
Surprise.
Yeah, because they didn't like that anyway. So we got to say, really look after him, monitor him, and, you know, do some work on getting the word out there about him. Everybody's falling in love with him. And yesterday I officially announced that he belongs to us now.
Wonderful.
We kept him.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we kept him. So it's Mr. Twix, Galaxy and Thornton, all named after chocolate bars. Why not, you know? And he went from rags to rock and roll. He really did.
Yeah, he
and
did.
He's a great dog. Oh, my gosh. Thornton's still not... She's okay with him in the house. She kind of has this... This is how she was the first day. Oh, I like you. I hate you. Why are you taking my ball? Oh, you're kind of fun. Oh, get away from me. And it was like the whole day. You know, like, oh, you did not sniff my bum. You did not just smack me in my face. That's my shoe that I like to chew on. I mean, it was just like, oh, you're kind of fun. I'll lay with you. No, I won't. Oh, my gosh. It drove me insane. It's exhausting. Now, my house is the biggest mess going now with 3 dogs. We have hardwood floors. So the rugs are just, you know, they like to surf on the rugs.
Yes.
So they're just a big ball everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a mess upon a mess. But you know what? I don't care. I love that dog. I love him. Galaxy thinks he's great. She's
Good.
Totally fine. But Thornton, I thought, when we did the bed situation, because we all sleep in bed, and I thought, I'll put his crate, his bed, everything he needs in our room as well. But he's going to jump on the bed at some point. And Thornton's literally like, you come 1 more millimeter and I'll flip out, you know. So she's taking a little bit more time. And I keep saying to her, did you forget when you first came to our house?
Sure.
You know, Galaxy wasn't nice to you. She don't care.
Yeah,
she don't remember.
No, it's her turn now.
So, but the steps, there's a lot of steps you can do, you know. And so 2 nights ago, a friend of mine texted me late. Sorry to text you so late. We just chased this dog down. I'm like, oh my God, deja vu. What do we do? And that was her question. What do we do? So I told her the same steps. I said, you know, contact the condo office because they may know who the owner is. Have some flyers up. Send his information to Vegas Animal Rescue. VegasAnimal411.com
Or VegasAnimalRescue.com.
Okay, there's a 2. I thought I was not going out of my mind.
No, you're not.
Because what Jocelyn does is she will email out the picture and all information of the pet that you found to every vet, groomer, shelter, rescue, you name it in town. It's a big, big network. And I receive them obviously the next day. I'm like, yeah, I know about that dog. And they've had a lot of success with that. Yeah. And of course, everybody's sharing on Facebook and Twitter. You know, just, you know, make sure you just give as many details as possible because we do have some good success stories, you know. So, those steps are important, you know, but, that's the story of Mr. Twix.
Wonderful.
So I think what we should do, Chris, shall we take a quick break? Because we're going to come back and we're going to start talking about Jessica's owner assistance program and what it means and how it can help you if you need help. We'll be right back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, the host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Swipe It's a revolutionary new product that literally wipes away cat hair from virtually any surface. You know, most of us struggle with a roller or vacuum cleaner to clean up cat hair, but anyone who has tried either of these knows they just don't work very well. But Swipe It's patent-pending glove has a magnetic-like quality that removes cat hair from almost everything. And best of all, Swipe It's is machine washable, so you can use it over and over again. To order, just visit swipeits.com. That's SWIPETS. A simple solution for shedding.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Now, let's return to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Here again, your host, the rock and roll queen of dogs, Sam.
Okay, and we are back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And I have a fantastic guest and friend in studio, and that is Jessica Clemens of Incredabull. So, let's tell everybody all about your fabulous work. And it's work, isn't it? I mean...
It's non-stop.
Oh, I don't think we can hear Jessica again.
There
we
we
good?
go.
Oh, we're good.
Now you can hear
we're
me.
Good, Chris. Yeah, I think we're sorted. We might have a little connection problem. Ah, yeah, that's what it is. There we go. Yes, I mean, anything you do with animals is hard work because you really don't switch off at 5 o'clock and you don't take your weekends off, and particularly with your own organisation. I mean, that just doesn't happen, does it? You know.
Yeah, this is the year of me trying to find a little balance. And
I relate. We're Geminis. We know exactly how that goes. But we get very excited about new projects and things we want to do. So you're like, yes, I've suggested more things this week that I should never have said yes to. But I do stick to my word.
Well, when it's your passion, it's hard to,
not
to
help.
put the boundaries up. But then we also have to talk about keeping sane.
Oh yeah. Dog world is very interesting. It's very up and down emotionally, you know. So you have to really kind of pace yourself. Or it's a little bit like medicine where you have to decide the dosage and how frequent, like you look at horrible pictures of dogs or whatever. Or, it's important. So tell everybody the name of your website.
It is Incredabull.org. It's a play on words, so it's INCREDABULL.org.
So what we wanted to do, if you're just listening in right now, what Jessica's organisation does is she helps with educating the public with the discrimination of certain breeds. And of course, pit bulls, and we know that's not a breed, but it's kind of a general term. In England, no one calls them pit bulls.
What do
they all call them staffies.
Staffies.
They all call them staffies.
Yeah.
And I think it's a better perception, don't you think?
Yeah, there's been a lot of research lately in what people respond to. And I know that Best Friends did kind of a focus group, and they found that people respond more favorably if you use the words American Pit Bull Terrier.
American Pit Bull Terrier.
Because they like the terrier.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a little bit of a misnomer to name every blockhead that you see because that's a specific breed.
Yes.
And it's really, like you said, it's really more of a general thing. So that's, everybody's got their own opinion, and if that works for some people, that's great.
Yeah, but what I like about what you also put out there is, and obviously everybody's intention is always positive, but it's, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But do we still want to use those negative words? We don't, do we? So if you've been the person that puts a picture up of your pit bull and it says, I'm a lover, not a fighter, how about you just put, I'm a lover?
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because
leave that out. You leave people with that last word that you're using. You leave that with them. It's just like saying they're not aggressive. Well, what are you leaving them with? Because aggression is a dog trait. It's not a breed trait.
That's right. And you know what? I think it's a little bit about like the law of attraction. If you put it out and it's negative, and a bit more negative comes back to you, So,
exactly.
just stop at the positive, and I think that's really important. But I think people are starting to see that slowly but surely, and start to change how they say things, I mean, I wish we could completely stop saying pit bull, and I'm going to try and attempt to do that, so.
I call them meatballs a lot, but then
Meatballs!
People look at me odd, There's other people that call them blockheads. I'm like, why can't we just call them dogs? Because that's, at the end of the day, they're just dogs.
And a lot of people call them pibbles, don't they?
Pibbles, yes. Yes, that's another popular cutesy.
It's kind of cute, you know. But yeah, try and stay positive. Really important. This is what Jessica's organization does. So the other aspect that I'm really, really interested in is the owner support program. I mean, when the recession hit, we were the worst country. We were the worst state and one of the worst cities in the country for foreclosures and job loss.
Yes.
And so as it trickles down, you see how, you know, you lose your house, where are you going? I mean, there are people that will honestly live in their car with their dog, you know, or their cats, and we've seen it, you know. But how do those people get help? So tell people about your program. Tell them, first of all, the types of people that will contact you, or is it sometimes other people that contact you about other people and say, hey, I know of this
it's
family?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We'll have people that are usually in homes that will contact us, reach out. We heard about you through someone else. Usually it's a lot of word of mouth.
Right.
And then we also help people that are transient or living on the streets. And
I saw that you helped someone last week, didn't you? Was it week before?
Pretty much every week. We don't always post everything because it's a little tenuous sometimes.
Yeah.
And, you know, people that are on the streets and, you know, most of them, or not most of them, but a fair amount of them that we've encountered, you know, they're a little standoffish initially because they think that we're there to take their dogs.
Oh.
Because they've had people come. I have a gentleman that we work with regularly, and he said, you know, I don't want to give you my dog. I said, hey, I don't want your dog.
We got enough on our own plates.
I value your relationship with your dog, and I realize she's your family. You have very little. I'm not trying to take her away. And he now ties her to his belt because he had someone come up, some person, I don't know if it was a rescuer or whom they were, but they came up and literally tried to take the leash out, ran up and tried to take the leash and take the dog.
Now here's the thing. If you're you see people on the streets all the time with their pets, and I see them at the traffic lights, and I always go, is your dog well fed? Because I'm kind of really interested in the dog being okay. But I think if they were the type of person that didn't care, that dog would not be with them on the streets. You know, it just wouldn't be with them.
Well, that's kind of how this started. You know, we have our spay and neuter assistance program, and we have other programs, but this wasn't something that we really kind of set out and planned to do.
Right.
It just was one of those things that happened.
And you go, oh my gosh, this is a gap
exactly
that we've got to fill.
Yeah.
So you provide spay neuter. Do you provide other medical costs?
We don't provide any other. It would be spay and neuter vaccines if they need them at the time of spay and neuter.
Which
microchips.
Is super important, you know. Food. I know you do food.
We do food.
What else do you do?
We do anything from collars to leashes. We've done treadmill training. You know, we have I got this crazy dog, and you know, I have some physicality issues, and I want to make sure the dog is exercised. Well, do you happen to have a treadmill, or can you get one, you know, real cheap off Craigslist? And
this is great.
And they do, and we get the dog on the treadmill, and
it's
that's
great.
another, you know, option for them to exercise their dog when it's not conducive to go out and walk them.
Right, because I mean, you live in a different life when you're homeless, most definitely. You know.
Yeah.
You're not going, we've got a dog park twice a day. I mean, you're just surviving on the streets, you know.
Yeah.
And you've got to be very fearful, I'm sure. Like you say, you know, is someone going to take my dog? You know, and I'm sure people are going, they're irresponsible because they're homeless. But I say, I've seen the best of people lose their homes in this town, you know, and because we don't have a lot of diverse industry. So if you know, seriously, if they laid you off from a casino, you know, that's a big, you know, chunk of our population.
Right.
And if you've been laid off, everybody's looking for the same job. You know, it's very difficult. So what I like about your program is I think a lot of people can get involved in different ways, which is one, you can tell someone about the owner assistance program so they can keep their pets, keep them in the home as well if they're struggling financially. Two, if you're a business and you can donate food, collars, leashes, blankets, even money, you know, and you know, you could, or maybe sponsor, I don't know, 3 spay neuters or something at a local vet for these dogs. I think that'd be an amazing way to get involved and help. Yeah,
we always need help from all sides, and the owner support team is kind of twofold. There's the street team that goes out and helps the people who are transient or homeless.
Right.
And then we also do home visits, if you will, with
That's
people.
great.
We're working with an elderly woman right now. She lives in North Las Vegas. She's on a fixed income.
Yeah.
She loves her Chihuahua. By the way, we help all dogs because we don't believe in discrimination.
There you go.
So you don't have to be a pit bull to get our help.
Yeah. Good to know.
But she, you know, she's just struggling just to provide basic necessities with food for him. And, you know, she shares with him the food that she has.
Oh.
But that's not necessarily healthy for the dog.
That's right.
And then she's, making a sacrifice on her own behalf.
It's incredible,
to help him,
isn't it?
so we help him. And
it's
then
incredible.
It's
See?
incredible.
That's why, do you know, seriously, this is the right name of your organization.
Yeah.
I think to take the pressure off owners and to take that fear away that I don't have to give my dog up, or like you said, someone's going to try to take my dog from me because they think, I'm abusing my dog because I'm homeless, which is not the case, I think it's an amazing program.
Yeah, and, my perspective is, people say, they shouldn't have dogs if you're homeless, and it's not natural. What's not natural is to contain a dog that comes from a wolf in an enclosed space, even if you've got an acre. That's less natural than constantly migrating if you're homeless or transient. Dogs are migratory animals.
Yes, they are.
So for them, if they're cared for and their owners love them and are looking out for their welfare, I don't see any problem with that.
I think the discrimination goes both ways, doesn't it? Think about it, because I know that homeless people get discriminated against all the time.
Yeah.
You never know why someone's in that situation.
Exactly.
I mean, we know we know families that live down in a wash, you know what I mean? Because
we help some of them.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, when our temperatures start soaring, it's a really dangerous time. And it's really dangerous down there when we get the monsoon. Yeah. I mean, the amount of people that get swept away is unbelievable, because that's where they go for some kind of shelter,
Yeah,
but
it's hard, and we try, not only not to judge the dogs, but not to judge the people
as well.
How this came about was I was at a gas station at Charleston and Maryland Parkway, not the greatest area, lots of transient people.
Yeah,
and I was getting gas, and there was a gentleman with a pit bull in a shopping cart. And he looked like he was, kind of down on his luck. And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Don't worry, my dog won't bite." And I'm like,
"Oh my gosh,
yeah, I'm not worried about your dog biting."
You're like, "I'm Jessica.
I love pit bulls. I have my shirt on.
I'm incredible."
Yeah, and he got kind of defensive. I said, "So what's going on?" He's like, "I'm just out here trying to get some food for my dog. I don't care about myself. I just want food for my dog." And he had taken a slip leash, probably from a vet, real cheap little slip leash, and he had made it into a collar for her.
Oh.
He had a microchip. He had her microchip, so he had the microchip tag on there. So he was doing everything that he could with the resources that he had to provide for her, and he adored her. I mean, when I said, "Well, what do you need?
Yes.
Looks like you need a collar. Looks like you need a leash. Let's get you some food." I said, "I don't have anything with me, but I have some stuff at home. Let me run home."
Wow.
They give out free cell phones on that corner, disposable cell phones, so he happened to have a cell phone.
Why? Because you need that communication.
Yeah, and, called him a couple hours later and met up with him, and, Little Mama was just... His dog was just jumping.
Is that her name?
Yes, Willie and Little Mama.
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
They were just, she was so excited to have a new collar. And, the one she had on, we literally had to cut off because she was kind of growing into
the collar, yeah.
He was trying to do right by her, and he loved her, and it was apparent. And it just was like kind of a light bulb moment for me.
So that was what triggered it then. That was the epiphany.
Yes, Willie and Little Mama is what started all of this.
I just love this.
Yeah.
And I know it's a service we really, really need in this town. I think what I'm going to do is... I always see the same homeless girl, actually. She doesn't have a dog, but I always see her on the way to the studio on Saturdays. And usually I have something in my car to give to this girl. And, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to bag up dog food in separate little bags and stuff like that. And, maybe toothbrush, toothpaste and that.
Yeah.
And, when I see, I have another friend that does that too. In fact, I had a friend who was delivered 2 pizzas instead of 1. They ate the pizza and then they got in their car and they drove around and they found someone who was homeless. Yeah.
Awesome.
Tina, amazing person too.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm going to do and have something available in my vehicle that I can, hand out should I come across somebody like that.
And that's what our street team does is we get, the smaller bags of food because obviously you don't want to give a 30 or 50 pound bag of food to someone.
Unless you've got a shopping cart.
Yeah, but even so, it's like
Little Mama.
Push this around.
Exactly.
But, I keep leashes and collars and a little bit of everything, some toys and blankets in my car. And when I come across a person, it's just easy to.
How many people do you have working with you now in the organization?
It's hard to say because They kind of come
some
and
people
go.
on and off, because you get some people that they're like 100%, and then you get those that come in and out a lot, don't you? You know,
exactly. Yeah, but we've got a good, solid crew that kind of stays most of the time.
I just love it. It is hard though to be involved in organisations like this because you can get very emotionally overwhelmed, and you can get really kind of burnt out very quickly. And I think it's important to give yourself a little break when you need it. Not that you're getting one, but everyone else on your team.
My husband.
But exactly. I think that's important though, and don't feel guilty about it because you're more useful when you've had a little break.
Right.
You can do a little bit more and a little bit longer.
Yeah, you can't take care of everybody else if you don't take care of yourself.
Care of yourself. It's really important.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are you going to be down at the Valentine's event at Bass Pro Shops today? Do you have a booth there? Not today?
No.
Mainly rescues are down there?
Yeah, just the rescues.
That's an event that's happening today. I think it's pretty much all day, like till 4 o'clock, and that's at the Bass Pro Shops that's attached to the Silverton Casino. And a gazillion rescues are out there. The weather is just ridiculously fabulous right now. Seriously, we're talking bikini weather. We're the only city, I think, that has bikinis available for sale all year round.
Right.
But it'll be an amazing event. It is outdoors, and you can pick up your next furry Valentine. I think it's really important that you go down there. Talking of Valentine's, did you do anything special?
My husband made a wonderful dinner and came home with a chocolate cake.
That's the way to do it.
Delicious. So
that's the way to do it.
Can't go wrong. It's better than fighting the crowds in the restaurants.
It really is. I had some other friends that meeting for lunch today that said, instead of us dressing and putting makeup on and we're just going to cook and have a great romantic dinner at home. You know, and I think that's really important.
And you had an anniversary.
I did. 19 years I've been married. I can't believe it.
Michael and I have been together for 19 years.
Have you as well? Yes, I didn't know that.
Yeah, in January.
Yeah, 19. We've been together 20. But married 19. We met on Valentine's. We're not cheesy. We met on Valentine's. I love Valentine's. You still get those. There's always those people like, it's a made-up holiday. No, it's not. Saint Valentine got beheaded. He got beheaded. I think it was like 1400. Got beheaded for actually marrying Christian couples. The Romans didn't like that. So then, he became like this, saint of kind of love. It's all about love.
Right.
And Hallmark did not invent this.
Yes.
Cards have been around a long.
Before Hallmark.
Yeah, cards started at least in the United States from 1850. So, and the thing is that the history of Valentine's cards, particularly in Victorian times, where we're a little bit more buttoned up, you didn't profess your love. Ladies didn't do that. It was a way of letting your secret, love for someone know that you liked them. You either signed it or you didn't. It would always say from your secret admirer. Yeah, I love romance. I just love romance. So, but yeah, I love Valentine's. I was downtown last night at the D. I've never seen more men dressed in red in my life. They had the biggest speed dating event outside the D last night, and I'm talking hundreds of people. Every 3 minutes, quick conversation, move on. So, and one big guy had a T-shirt on that said, "I'll hug you really hard."
Oh, jeez.
I was like, I wonder how his speed dating went. It probably went even faster. They probably got up after 30 seconds, Hey, Chris, I think we'll take another quick break, and you'll be able to listen to some words from our sponsors who keep our show going every week, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the queen of rock and roll dogs. Be right back.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim Link, animal communicator and pet expert and host of Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have you ever wanted to know what your pet is really thinking? Do you want to find out if they truly understand what you're trying to tell them? Ever wish you could build a better understanding and closer relationship with your pet? Well, now you can. Learning to communicate with animals is a 4-part on-demand workshop. In the workshop, you'll learn the essential techniques that are necessary to communicate with animals, including what is animal communication, breathing correctly to achieve the perfect state to communicate with your animals at a deeper level, using guided meditation exercises and method to communicate with animals, and how to send and receive information from your animals. So if you're wanting to learn how to communicate and connect with your animals at a deeper level, visit PetLifeRadio.com/workshop and purchase and download Learning to Communicate with Animals. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robin Gansert, President and CEO of American Humane Association, the country's first national humane organization. Here to tell you about our new show, Be Humane, on Pet Life Radio. Each week, we'll be bringing you the latest news and issues affecting our animal friends, and we'll also be bringing you interviews with Hollywood's biggest animal advocates, here to share tales about their pets and what they're doing to promote a more humane world. Our own highly experienced staff and friends of the organization will also join us each week to share what they're up to in the animal world. I hope you'll stop by. Until then, let's always remember to be humane.
Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
This is Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Vegas Rock Dog Radio. The phone lines are open at 702-483-4444. Now let's bring back the host. Here is the rock and roll queen of dogs, Sam.
Okay, and we're back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, your host, Sam. And we are broadcasting live from Las Vegas. Don't be confused by the accent. Actually, we have a lot of British people that live here. Lots of us. And I just found out, if any of my English listeners are listening in, or family and friends, I just found out there's a Cornish pasty place that opened up. Cornish pasty is almost like a pie without the... You know what a samosa look? Not a samosa. You know what an empanada looks like? The shape of an empanada, but look at it that size, in the most amazing pastry. Mm-hmm. And inside, it's like meat and veg and kind of gravy-ish inside and stuff, or they have vegetarian. And so that's what he sells. Oh. And I think he does some non-traditional ones with chicken tikka masala, Indian inside. So the minute you tell one of your British friends here, this British place, the news travels like within a day. The whole community knows about it. So yeah, we have lots of nationalities living in Las Vegas, but lots and lots of British people. Anyway, so I'm talking to Jessica Clemens of Incredabull.org, and she's making some big strides in town. How long have you had the organization now?
This is our 4th year.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to say 2. It just seems like yesterday.
I know.
It may not feel physically like yesterday.
It's like a train that it's left the station and you cannot stop it.
It's Ozzy Osbourne getting on the crazy train. Right. That's exactly what it is. Do you have any events coming up?
We do have some that are in the works. We're still working on the final kind of touches on that. But if people want to find out about that, we do. We have a meetup group through meetup.com.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a link on our website, or you can just go to meetup.com and search Incredabull Las Vegas.
Fantastic.
And you join that. It's free to join.
Great.
And then we send you out an email with everything that we plan. We have Pits in the Park, which is just kind of
what a great name.
A way to get together and socialize go
on
walks. That is next weekend, I believe, at 10 a.m., I believe, Sunset Park. We're hosting that. And that's also open to dogs other than pit bulls.
Okay.
We have a Yorkie that is
probably running the whole show.
Yeah, she's our mascot. So we've got it all. You know, we like to get everybody out there.
I think what I like about those kind of things is, like you say, it's a great socialization time for you and your pets, but also I think it's a great way to talk to other pet owners. You know, like, hey, is anyone, like right now, I'm like, is anyone trying this product for allergies right now for their pets? Do you have any success with it? You know?
Yeah, and it's, you know, we do, whether we go to parks or we go to town square or we go somewhere in public, there's nothing better to change the perception that the majority of people have about pit bull dogs than a dozen or more of them walking through a public place and people just, you know, their mouths drop and they turn their heads and, wait, aren't those dogs that are supposed to do whatever they assume that they do? And it really starts a conversation. You know, we've had a couple that will be kissing babies, you know, and people are like, oh my gosh, she's kissing babies. They're just the sweetest dogs. I'm like, yes.
And those breeds were used originally for babysitting, weren't they? Like a long time ago.
Yeah, they're, you know, and not all of them are great with kids, but they're, you know, there are a lot of them that love kids.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and I think, especially when you see beautiful young women walking with pit bulls, it really, really throws people for a loop. They go, this doesn't make sense. They try to make sense of it, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's very easy for people to just say things without really thinking about what they're saying, because they're generally not coming from their own experience,
right?
Or it's something they just saw in the
media.
Regurgitating
something they heard.
And this is it. And I think the more you hear it, the more people believe it, the more you believe what
Absolutely.
you're saying, you know.
Sure.
And so I think it's important. You know what? I'm going to say I was guilty of that too. Not of pit bulls, but I was guilty of saying, hey, if you can't afford the adoption price, you probably can't afford to keep the pet. And I thought, how do I know this?
Right.
I don't know this at all. You know, we want to be able to say people come up freely and say, yes, here's the money, boom.
Sure.
You know, but it might be something that people aren't expecting to pay, even if you may perceive it yourself as something not being very expensive as an adoption fee.
Right.
You know, it just may not be an expected, cost, because a lot of people do think that adopting a dog is free, but there are some rescues that do that. Especially when their numbers start getting really, really high, they just get overwhelmed.
Right.
Yeah, and I just saw that recently, and it was like, this weekend, come and pick out your furry friend. You know.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you have to be careful of is these are opportunities also for people that fight pit bulls to come and pick up a free dog. You know, that's super important. And often they will send their girlfriend and she's dressed nice or whatever.
Sure.
Especially if their face has been seen a lot, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know. There was a interview done with a very renowned dog fighter who's no longer fighting dogs, but and he was asked that question, like, would you go to a shelter and, is that where you guys kind of troll for dogs? And he said, no, we're not going to go.
Craigslist.
Craigslist or steal them out of people's yards.
Oh, that's really yes, do you know what happens? And this has happened in England. They'll take like a coloured sticker and they're going to stick them on a gate.
Yes.
Or they purposely keep the gate unlocked, and then they know which houses they have to hit to pick up the dogs. So I think with Craigslist, thankfully there's that petition that's building and building, because we need to be able to shut down this whole Craigslist nightmare, because it is a nightmare.
And we really need our animal control to be given the resources and step up to enforce the laws, because you can institute a mandatory spay and neuter law, but if no one's enforcing it, then
it's impossible.
What's the point of it?
I talked to the I don't know if it was the Nevada Political Action for Animals. I don't think it was Gina's. I can't remember. Anyway, but I gave my suggestions, and I said, how we get our water bill, and it's like jam-packed with garbage paper that's in there. Why are we not putting in there about the mandatory spay neuter? Why are we not putting in there you have to license your pet?
Right.
Because you're obviously going to hit on a lot of people, if it's in there, especially if there's a cute picture of a cat or a dog on there, people will pay attention. But like you say, how do they get to know? Some people don't know what they don't know, and then people say, well, it's your job to know the law. Really? Do we know anyone that's going on the internet to read every law for us? They say no. Yeah. So let's make it easier on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's use the avenues that are available that pretty much everybody comes across. Like you said, like the utility bills. There's no reason why you couldn't put some tips in there. And
PSAs on TV.
Yeah.
PSAs on radio. We'll do it on right now. If you are in Las Vegas, if you're in Clark County, you need to be doing spay neuter on your pet, unless you breed your pet, and you have to be a real deal breeder.
With a license.
With a license. Is it a pet fanciers license they call it? Or is that for just people who have more than the required amount of dogs?
More than the 3, and then there's a separate breeder's
breeder's level. So that's really, really important, because one, it helps us with overpopulation, most definitely. And it helps us on behavioral issues too, doesn't it?
Well, and, we talk to a lot of people that go on Craigslist, because unfortunately there's a lot of pit bull breeders that use Craigslist and, say, oh, well, I'm saving this dog and helping that dog. Yeah. When you're giving those people money, you're rewarding that behavior, and they're not going to stop. Nope. So it doesn't
think twice.
Make sense.
If you need to get rid of your dogs, you need to call a private rescue. That's what you need to do, or no-kill shelter. Important, super important. And we'll keep drumming this into people's heads. It's not expensive. Henderson's $6. Nothing.
Yeah, Clark County, you're not required to. City of Las Vegas,
you are. Yeah, so just get them licensed, get them spay-neutered, don't break the law.
And please put a lock on your gate.
Yes, I did mine, because so many times my dog's missing, my landscaper was here, someone came to clean my windows and they forgot to close the gate. Yeah. You don't want that situation. It happened to me.
No, you don't. And we've recently dealt with some people who didn't have a lock on their gate, and animal control got a hold of their dog, and it turned into a situation that's horrible. Legal issue. And
wow.
Yeah, and a simple lock on the gate.
Simple lock. Do it, people. Do it.
Solve that.
Yes, so simple and expensive too.
Yes.
So here we go. So let's tell you about an event that's going on today. We already mentioned it, the Furry Valentine, 10 to 4 p.m., Bass Pro Shops. And that's where you're going to go down there, pick up your next love of your life. The Blog Pause Pet Bloggers Convention is coming to town, May 8th to 10th at the Westin Hotel in Lake Las Vegas. Blogpause.com. Important. Really good. I'm going to be there. Rescue of the Week. Actually, it's not a rescue. It's a very, very good Facebook page that actually shares all of the animals at the shelter that need to find a home. And that is Fuzzy Friends with a Z or a Z. Funny Friends Rescue. But they are not a rescue. They actually support pets that need homes. Of course, we'd like to thank our sponsors, because without them, we wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. A quick shout out to Jen, if you're listening. Jen is one of the founders of No Kill Las Vegas. I think you know Jen. She usually listens every week. So hi, Jen. How are you? And next week on the show, I've got Hannah Elizabeth. She's a comedian, writer, and a big animal advocate. She's very funny, very smart. She has an amazing vocabulary.
Yes, she does.
I love words. I love words. You're going to love her. And what we like to say at the end of the show is... remember that you can help a pet in need, either rescue, adopt, donate, or share their information.
Or volunteer.
Volunteer! I'm going to add that. I've got to add it. I must add it. I've got to add it. Rescue your next family member. Or chase it down in a park.
That's right. Replace
the word shop with adopt. And be kind to all animals. I want to say big thank you to Jessica for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I love her. Incredabull.org. Make sure you check her out. And big thank you to Chris for making the show run for me. It's wonderful. Thanks to our listeners. We enjoy you being part of the show every week. And you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. It's all about Vegas, rock and roll, pets, people, pop culture, dogs all the time, and other animals. And I'm your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And remember, always kiss your pets good morning and good night. We will see you next week, and it'll be fun. You must tune in for Hannah Elizabeth on the show. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.